welcome to the Lowdown Mortgage Podcast, the show where we dive deep into the topics that directly impact the evolving originator. I'm your host, Connor Bartley. Bam! And joining me today is someone who I've really enjoyed just getting to know through our conversations, and something that really just becomes obvious the more we talk is that he's genuinely thinking and operating like a business owner and has built a model that really prioritizes relationships, protects the client experience, and still allows him to grow without burning out. So Jake Schoemann, welcome to the Lowdown. It's great to have you here today.
Hey, Connor. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. I'm excited for this conversation because it's been great just kind of getting to know you offline, and I'm hopeful that more people can discover you, I guess. Now, the first thing that kind of got my attention about you is just your presence on social media. Like, I remember what was it, the pin cap thing or the bottle top thing, and you did with the sock and the hand. Like, I thought it was brilliant. You've done some other like office style clips, so I love what you've done there. But I guess I'll just start with a question about that. Like, why did you start leaning into that? Because I know when we talked, you were like 10 years ago, I was on social media. So like, when did that become like a big part of the business for you, and what's been the impact?
Yeah, I always thought like building your brand is the most important thing. Like your reputation is the most valuable thing in this industry in a lot of ways. And so how do you get your name, image, and likeness out there? That's a hot topic in college sports, but really it was hot in our industry even 10 years ago. And I always liked social media because it definitely kept you connected to the people that you wouldn't have been. Parents reference that quite often, right? Like, oh, if we had social media back in the day, I would still be connected with such and such from high school. Well, I am connected with such and such from high school because of social media. And I figured, hey, people want to see who I am. That's fine. Well, a little bit of my life is my work. My life is my work, and my work is my life. And so let's let people into that a little bit and show them what I do. And some of that had to do with watching, kind of reality TV. I really liked American Choppers, right? Orange County Choppers guys. It was fun to watch them, and you realize their life is their work and their work is their life. And so I said, let's use a little bit of social media and have fun with it. Like, I like humor. I like presenting. I like numbers. Let's try to show people who I am so they can work with me, hopefully, when they need a mortgage, because people buy people. And so let's show people who I am, and maybe they'll go with us for a mortgage.
Yeah. Does that ever feel uncomfortable to you, or did it feel uncomfortable in the beginning and it's gotten easier over time?
Yes. I always think by like trade or definition, I'm more introverted. So sometimes it's definitely like hard to push forward and let yourself be out there, if you will. But over the times that I keep doing it and the success that you have with it and the people that come from it, it's been very gratifying. So like when I go to a networking event, for instance, I'm connected with so many real estate agents, luckily in this area because of social media. I'll go to a networking event and people will say what you said at the beginning, right? Like, oh, I've seen your office video. It's hilarious. I love it. And it's like, all right, you didn't like it, but it's good to know that people are seeing it. And so because of that, it's like, hey, we should keep doing these things to get our presence out there, keep building this brand, if you will. And hopefully those real estate agents that like it, I can connect with them deeper, and maybe they'll utilize us and refer some borrowers.
Yeah. And so, using that as a lever, you've built a really successful business, but there was a time where you had felt kind of just hit a ceiling earlier in your career, and realizing that growth wasn't like just about one magical tactic. What shifted for you mentally when you stopped thinking like a producer and started really thinking more like a business owner?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I was kind of stuck for a long period of time in the same rut. And it's most loan officers, right? You'll do like 8 deals in a month, and then 2, and then 8, and then 1, and then 9, and then 3. You go through that spell. And a lot of it is because like, oh, I'm trying to generate and find clients and work relationships to get opportunities. And then I get them and I'm trying to close them, right? And it takes up all of my time. And then you have to go back through that cycle over and over again, or the roller coaster, if you will. And so I was probably the product of somebody who I don't like to get lost in the minutia. It takes up all of my time. I'm not good with organization when it comes to documentation and things like that. So I realized I probably need to hire somebody for this. And so trying to convince at that time my boss was a little difficult because he's always tried to hire or put people in positions for loan officers before they were ready for it. Well, I was one of those that looked like it was before I was ready for it, but I needed it in order to get more business, right? I needed to take that stress or that weight off in order to go out there and originate more and more and more.
Yeah. And so, as we were prepping for this episode and just kind of learning a little bit about the structure around you, you used an analogy that I thought was really smart of like the pilot and the flight attendant. And I'm just curious, like, how does that model protect the client experience and then still allow you to grow?
Yeah, good question. I stole that from an old training that I used to do in the mortgage industry. A lot of people might have heard it before also, but explaining it to business partners and explaining it to clients is key for success. But really the crux of it is I need my clients to understand that I cannot always be at their beckoning call. I would love to be, but I can't be. And because I can't be, I realized or I wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. So I had to hire somebody that was better at customer service than I was. And she is. She's way better at it. Her care, her detail, her understanding, her soft spoken voice, if you will, is powerful for our team. And she's essentially one of my right hands here in the mortgage industry, right? For our team. She's amazing. So when we use that analogy now, people get it, right? Like you don't want your pilot, which is me, to get your coffee. You want your flight attendant to help you with those tasks. And that's exactly what she does. But when things pop up, emergencies happen, communication needs to be had, I'm right there to get back into it and make sure everybody's taken care of. At the same time, pricing and understanding and guiding and organizing everything else on the back end, I try to do as good as I can and as good as I've always done on that for our clients.
Yeah. And so, was that a decision that you arrived at just out of necessity? Were you actively like researching how do I add efficiencies to the business? Like, where did you learn that this is what I need?
Yeah, I think it's listening to a lot of top producers in the past, like how do they have their team structured? And the ones that you respect, you gravitate towards for sure. So stealing some of their ideas, but implementing it into my own way has been key. However, I used to listen to podcasts like this or to top producer calls within our companies and would always be searching for the magic wand of how you're going to grow your business. I'm going to listen to X and X speak and he's going to tell me exactly what he did in order to grow. And the more you listen to those guys, the more you realize there isn't a magic wand. There's not a secret sauce. And unfortunately, you can't just go from one loan a month to 10 loans a month overnight because there is no pill that you can just take to be great. You have to really do a lot of little things over and over at a high level and be what I look at as like a 5-tool player. I mean, you got to be good at sales. You got to be good at organization. You got to be good at marketing, so on and so forth. And if you're good at all of them, or at least have a presence of mind to be good at all of them, that's where I think success will come from, right? Is all of the little things. And then having different pillars of incoming business. Is it realtor relationships? Is it social media? Is it lead generation opportunities? If you have those pillars worked out, that's where you start to really cultivate and grow the pipeline.
Yeah, I think there's one like common ingredient that will always pop up, which is just building trust, right? And I mean, you've even kind of said that people will send you the business because they like you first, but they keep sending it because they trust you over time. So, how has having that team and doing those little things consistently helped you build trust over time?
Yeah, I think trust is mandatory. And you can make one little mistake in this industry and it's looked at so negatively by like a real estate agent or any referral partner, and they'll never send you business again. It's just an excuse per se not to. But you also look for the loan officers who are good that make those mistakes out there and then you pick up their business, right? Like it's just a cycle. So you have to grow and build trust, and that comes in many different fashions, and I think most loan officers know or have an idea. It's hitting all your dates and deadlines, right? Having good competitive rate options, selling your clients on your customer service and your availability. If you build that trust, you don't lose the referral partners that you have. And some of the referral partners that I have are pretty good sized agents in this market. And the reason they keep coming back and using us is because I think we do the right thing over and over and over again for them.
Yeah. And, one of the things that is a challenge that loan officers have is sort of sorting through the shiny objects that the industry just keeps throwing at them. Everybody's got something to sell, whether it's a coaching program or this, technology or leads or whatever it is, right? And I just in talking with you, you've dabbled here or there to try and find what tools work best for you. But like, how are you deciphering what's worth using versus what's just kind of noise?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, how many LinkedIn inbox messages do I have for people saying, I can get you 5 to 10 more leads per month using our blah, 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 blah. And, you don't, a lot of them I just don't reply to because I just think they're probably garbage. Because if they do work, like they wouldn't be soliciting, they would probably just be originating. And so that's, it's listening to others and what they use that have made them successful. But it's also hard to find top producers that'll actually give you their secret sauce. So from my aspect, it's a lot of trial and error. I mean, use a lot of different CRM systems that either I've been provided by the company or that we've tried on our own. And some of that has been really educational, right? Just understanding what type of drip campaigns work, what kind of automated email systems look good, what resonates to a client, what keeps them top of mind, including the use of social media with and alongside of that. So trial and error, the biggest thing that I've thought has worked so far is just AI products. If it's as easy as doing some math for you to help sell maybe a refinance to somebody or the benefits really of the refinance. It's really funny in this industry because selling savings is a thing, but making it make sense for people, which mathematically it typically does, but math is looked at differently by everybody. So maybe I can't articulate it great, but ChatGPT might help me to spell it out in a way that my client will understand it. Because I've been in this mortgage industry long enough that I may be blinded by little things that the client needs to hear or see. And so that system, by utilizing that, has really helped me quite a bit to talk more efficiently to people and to convert a little bit better. But you mentioned using things like Total Expert or whatever other systems out there. I haven't found a lot of value in all of that personally. We've seen a lot of people come through and say, hey, I can revolutionize your social media. Same thing. I haven't had a lot of success with other people getting involved in that. And the reason is I think social media is super personal. For me, I look at it that way. I've looked at a lot of analytics on it, and I've realized that when my face is on something, we get way more views, get more attention, get more reaction. And if I'm not, if it's just a canned post, if you will, then you don't see much traffic at all or really any reputation gain, if you will. So
yeah, I can't remember what they call that, but something bias, right? Where they just continue to see you over and over again, and it builds trust just kind of through that repetition. I think that's a great call out. And you've mentioned a couple of times like reaching out to top producers or seeing what they're doing. Are you just proactively like picking up the phone and saying, hey, like, can we have a conversation? Or how often are you kind of reaching out and engaging with someone who, is doing the kind of production that you want in your own business?
yeah, a lot of it is the companies that I've been at. So I've been at Bank of England Mortgage and now at Novus Home Mortgage. Both of them I've had, I would like to hope, a good reputation in, just trying to do things the right way for the companies, if you will. And so I've gone up to our top producers or I've called them, and I've asked them their opinion or how they do things. And most of them are pretty receptive and sharing. I don't ask too much though, because I don't want to also be disrespectful. If they want to share, they will. The nice thing is most of them are outside of my market. So it's not like they're going to sell me any trade secrets that's going to affect their business per se. But I think if somebody came to me, especially within our company, I would definitely be more than open to tell them, the things that I'm doing. Actually going to our Corporate Connect conference next week, and I'm on 3 different panels trying to add value to the LOs that are there, because I think I have a responsibility in this industry to help others grow and succeed. The reason I think that way is because when I started, I had a lot of mentors and people at a company that wanted to see me succeed and grow. They saw my talent and they just gave me as much of the tools possible or knowledge possible to expand. And then I just put that within my own personality and my own self and my own abilities. And it has worked out, luckily. And I'm not finished yet, I hope. So hopefully I can see somebody young, not even young, just energetic and wanting to succeed. And they can kind of flip the switch by maybe a couple things that I can help them do.
Yeah, that hunger matters, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
I want to go back to something that you've said, which is like the life is your business is life, and kind of that reality TV concept. But when it comes to just like, building this up, I mean, you get to a place where you're doing so many loans that it can almost trap you. I was talking with someone earlier today that, they were 30 years old and they said, I don't want to grow so much that I'm missing out on things at life. Like, I mean, it's great to think about making $1 million in a year, but then what's the cost of making $1 million a year? So when we were talking before, you mentioned like golf trips and things like that, and being able to work that sort of into your life. Like, what guardrails have you put in place to where you're still able to live the life you want to live and grow the way you want to grow?
Yeah, I think hiring the right people has helped a ton, right? Like, my goodness, if I didn't have the team that I have, I wouldn't be nearly close to the production that I can do, because I don't have the ability to maintain all of that, right? In order to get to, 100 closed loans in a year, we'll call it, you need at least like 25 referrals in a month, right? Because you got to work it backwards. You got to understand what your numbers are. You got to understand how many referrals convert into applications, how many applications to pre-approvals, how many pre-approvals to closings. And ultimately, that will show you what type of activity you need to do to be successful. So if I know I need to get 25 referrals in a month, what activities then would lead to that? So again, it works it forward, but then you got to work it backwards, right? And so you realize, okay, my best agent gives me maybe one opportunity a month. I need 25 best agents, right? That quickly humbles new loan officers when they realize that they have what they feel is an A agent, but that A agent might only send them one good referral per quarter. Okay, now you need 75 agents in order to hit the numbers that you want and your goals to succeed. So there's been a lot of work and preparation over the years to build that many relationships. And then from there, get your own sphere business on top of it. And that takes a long time of building a brand and building a recognition with individuals to send you or trust you with their largest purchase of their life or their largest financial asset for a refinance potentially. So once you realize that, you don't have enough time to do everything. And when you don't have enough time to do everything, you obviously need some help. And so for me, it's been hiring a loan manager, or essentially a processor, and then hiring a front end concierge person, as I call it. And those two have allowed me, and I've made them essentially vested interest parties of my team and my business. They've allowed me to have that work-life balance, if you want to call it that. I don't know if I totally call it that, because work is life and life is work in a lot of ways, as you kind of alluded to. So when I go on a golf trip, it is a golf trip and it's fun and it's relaxing, but it's still brand building in a lot of ways, right? It's personal connection building and building business advocates, right? They might be friends, but they're also business advocates, and they're going to vouch for you, and they're going to tell their friends and family when they're thinking about buying or refinancing that Jake's an awesome guy. Jake's smart, he's charismatic. You'll like him. His team's amazing. They close your loan and they'll take care of you. And so that's the way that I look at it. For instance, I went on a golf trip with 16 guys I didn't know at all. And this was 2 years ago. And I have, from that golf trip, been able to account for probably about 6 loans. It was a 3-day trip. So if I can take 3 days out of the year and find 6 deals from just 3 days, probably want to do more golf trips, right? So obviously that takes so much more energy and time. There's more that goes into that than just like the 3 days that I went on it, but it also has given me some lifelong friends from that trip. So I think there's ways to do it, but you also to have the personality to do it, I suppose, too. I don't like to think that like I'm the most interpersonal person in the world, or I'm the most charismatic, or the most likable instantaneously. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But you can't just be a stiff in this industry and think that success follows by just doing the redundant work. You know, you have to be charismatic. You have to be personable, people by people. If you are going to be that just dialer guy, just work in a call center. That's probably going to be your best bet. You know, if you want to go originate and get loans on your own, where the true value is in this industry, that's where you have to have kind of those skills.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also the more people you're around, the more likely you'll find your people. And just being out in the community, going to the events, hosting events, like finding ways to get in front of as many people as you can, just maximizes the chance that you're going to find those people that you can do business with long term and develop those relationships. A lot of times, you know, you can box yourself in and try to ride or die with a few people, and it can, you know, that's one retirement or one career change away for that other person, to where a big chunk of things fall apart for you. So it can, you know, you got to diversify, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Something I did want to call out, and this was something I really admire about you and respect, is that you're very like dialed in on your numbers, and you know what, you know, how all that breaks down for you. Like, at what point in your career did you start really tracking that? And then, like, how has that allowed you to, you know, has that given you freedom, or what is that like? What's been the impact of that for you?
Yeah, I think the massive impact of it is more peace of mind, right? So in this industry, when you don't have success, you get a ton of anxiety and fear, especially because it's mainly all commission. Like most people are all commission. So if you're not making any money, that's fearful, right? But then everybody tells you like, oh, you got to do the things that lead to success. Like, well, what the hell is that? Right? Like you have no idea. And when I started, I had no idea. Like, get on the phone, make calls, pick up the phone. It's like, okay, well, nobody's calling me. And then who do I call? And so on and so forth. So tracking and doing the numbers thing gives me peace of mind that I'm doing the right thing. So even if we have like a month where we close 4 deals, I know that we're doing all the right things, or I'm doing all the right things, that we're going to get more opportunities, and those more opportunities will lead to X amount of applications and X amount of pre-approvals and X amount of closings, right? I know because I've tracked it. So that's what it's done. Now, to go back to what you were saying, when did I start? I took a real estate training class, actually. It's called Bold. It's through Keller Williams. I think a lot of people have probably heard of it. I sponsored a day, and then it would happen to be the first day. And then they said, hey, do you want to take the course too? And I said, sure. So Bold stands for, I think it's business something life by design. All right. So it's teaching you how to live, right? But with your business in mind. And they basically said track numbers or call X amount of sphere people, and that will lead to results, and let us show you. And I've heard this a million times in the mortgage side of things, but I never took it into consideration to just keep tracking literally everything you do, and then how the results also can be worked into numbers. I call it Moneyball in mortgages, right? So I know if I call now, like say 20 agents in a week, and have a conversation with them, and if I go on 3 lunch appointments and 2 coffee appointments and go to one networking event in a week, that'll result in X amount of referral opportunities. Those X amount of referral opportunities turn into X amount of applications and X amount of pre-approvals and X amount of closings. So just knowing that the work you do isn't worthless, it's valuable, and then you can quantify it, it makes your life so much easier and so much less stressful. Not only that, when I have a conversation with my wife about why are you going to X and X, like, because it's worth X and X to us for me to go, that's invaluable too. I love my wife, but she doesn't understand what I do and or do it, right, sometimes. And I think a lot of us struggle with that. Our spouses or significant others get a little irritated of, why are you on the phone again at 9 p.m. at night taking an application or a phone call from a real estate agent? Well, the answer is that phone call, that application is worth worth XXX dollars, right? So if you can quantify things in this business to an end result, the easier it becomes. And then on top of that, when you're not having success, as long as you're doing the XXX, that'll lead you to what you want as a result. You know it'll come. But the only way to figure out what your X numbers are is by tracking all of them, right? How many people have I called this week? How many people have I talked to? How many people have I met? What networking events have I done, right? You have to fill up your calendar and do those things. And if you don't, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah. So, Jake, as we wrap up, like, is there any advice that you would share with another originator that's looking to grow that maybe we haven't talked about already? Or is there anything that you would just want to reiterate that would be helpful to someone who's, stuck like you were many years ago and trying to figure out, like, where do I go from here? What would you say to that loan officer?
To be completely honest, anybody that I talk to that's new, I always tell them I would not want to start again because it was hard. It was a long, long journey. I think I met in the first year like 200 real estate agents when I counted last. And the hard part about that is I don't work with a single one of them. Now, a lot of those agents that I did meet with, I don't want to say a lot of those, a handful of those that I did meet with, I did work with for a short period of time, but ultimately they led me to the people that I now work with today. The other thing that's really cool is, as much as I talk about tracking numbers and tracking activities, that stuff in time becomes inherent, right? It's just something I do. I don't really track it as much as I used to. I just know that I'm probably going to text 250 people this week because I do. And I'm going to talk to another 25 on the phone or more. And I'm going to see another 100 some people at different events or at a club that I now belong to or at a high school sporting event that I go to. So all of that stuff, if you do all the right things at the beginning of your career where you're talking to, going out and trying to meet, heading up new networking events that you can find, these things aren't hard to do. You can go and do them. You just have to do them. Find a real estate agent list. Just give them a call. I know they get bombarded by loan officers, but you might be able to connect with them. You got to find your people. And when you do, you'll find success with that. And once that success happens, it'll keep you hungry for the next opportunity and so on and so forth. And I promise if you just stick with it long term, it'll work out.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you being here on the lowdown, kind of sharing your wisdom and just your journey. I mean, it's great to learn more about anybody who comes on this show. And so I'm grateful for you. And
thanks, Connor. I appreciate it, man.
In the future. You bet.